Well, hello friends and Merry Christmas. We're upstairs on my second floor in my office right now. And this whole season I'm trying to take you along on the process of putting together trees, of putting some things out, kind of the decor thought process. A lot of you have asked for more decoration or Christmas decorating videos. So I'm just trying to take you along on when I get things out. So you can see behind me are tubs. I'll kind of show you my thought process, and you know what? It could change partway through this video. We'll kind of see. This is the first year that I'm going to try to put all my antique pinecone ornaments on a larger size tree. This is a 7-foot tree, and a lot of you are going to say, oh, what a sad tree. It looks Charlie Brown. I actually picked this tree very purposely. I like the open branching, because then I can put a lot of specific ornaments on it and have it be nice and full and lots of room to put them. Personally, I like sometimes some open trees like this. This is similar to the one I use in my dining room where I put large kugel ornaments. These aren't going to be necessarily large ornaments, but they're going to be kind of a different plethora. So I'll take you through here how I store them. You can see they're all sitting behind me in various tubs. We're going to talk about what the tree is sitting in and how I'm hiding it. And again, it's using one of my collections. So let's start the process and I'll kind of take you along and show you what I'm doing. So the tree is right, we have Kip here too, don't worry. The tree is right behind here, my desk space. You can see it had kind of just sits in the corner. Eventually there's a chair that's gonna go here, but this year I have plenty of room to put a nice sized tree, so that's what I'm gonna do. And it's right in front of some bookshelves. So I have it sitting in a wash tub, and to hide the stand itself, I'm filling it with a collection of boxes or children's drums or different things like that that I've been collecting. So I always collect various Christmas style boxes, or even, I think actually I got these in the attic at Mom's house, some shoe boxes from years ago, obviously. These are from like probably the 60s. And it's kind of just fun to have a plethora of boxes, old ones. This is from a department store that used to be in the area. And it's just kind of fun, or even sometimes brand new special memento boxes. Someone brought me some beautiful macarons one time from Los Angeles, and they were in this beautiful box and I could not get rid of it. So boxes like this even are just a great way to kind of add something and then fill in underneath a tree and almost make it look like this vintage, eclectic, kind of early Christmas tree. And that's what I like. It feels almost like they're wrapped and ready for something to come. So on this tree, the real focus I want are these vintage and antique pinecone ornaments. If you've been following me, you know I've collected these for quite a while and keep getting them, but it's not gonna, I know, be near as many as I want to think it is once they're actually up on this tree. So I have quite a few of those I'm gonna do. And then if I feel like I want to, I may add in some Kintley beautiful mercury glass candy canes. I may even add in some glass ornaments here I'll show you. So I keep mine a lot of times in kind of smaller plastic tubs because I don't want the weight of ornaments to be heavy on each other. So these you can see down here are like a bohemian glass or like a Czech glass ornament. And they have all these glass beads that create these kind of really beautiful ornaments. And all these will go really well with the pine cone. So usually what I do in something like this, I get out multiple things and then as I'm putting it together, see what's gonna fit. I may also put on it a whole bunch of Putz houses because a lot of these little cardboard houses you can see have, if I pull them out here, you're gonna just see they have hangers that you can hang them on a Christmas tree, which is really fun. And these again, since most of these ornaments are from the same era, they go well together. They're gonna have that vintage, nostalgic kind of feeling. So I'll probably end up putting quite a few of these on too because the colors I think go so well with the pine cones. What I always start with is the largest ones, which I have down here, and you can see they're underneath the first layer here are my biggest ones. And those are just so I can put them in strategic spots where I either want to hide something on the tree or I just want them sitting further in so the smaller things can go on the outside. I have quite a few of the pine cones on. I'm gonna say most of the big ones on. And now you can see they're just getting evenly spread out, and I'm still going through and making sure I get some over everything. Now, since this is put into a corner, it's one of the few times that I say I don't fully put the back of the tree on display. It's when I don't really put ornaments all the way. Now, I do put them around the corners. I just don't put them maybe all the way in the back. Since I don't have as many pine cones as some of my other ornaments, I wanna make sure I can see all the beautiful pine cones and make sure they're more towards kind of like three sides of it. I mean, you can do what you want, but if it's jammed into a corner like this, like if it was against a window, then I would show more, things like that. But what I am doing is going through, and if there's any ones I want to make sure stick out a little bit, or if they're ones I just enjoy more, like here, I'll show you this one. This is a little bit more of a rare one. So it's a pine cone. See how it's a pine cone? It's in a half moon shape with a Santa face on it. So when you start collecting ornaments, and I do, and I collect quite a few of them, you start finding kind of some interesting ones. So this one I actually just got last year at an antique store, and I was super excited because when they're unique like this, that's just what adds to the collection. Other ones that I really like to highlight and make sure just I personally can enjoy throughout the season are maybe some interesting colored ones. So I have some black pine cones, which to me are just odd. You don't see near as many of these, but I just think they're super fun that they're such an odd color. So I'm gonna finish putting up all these. I'll just keep the camera going so you can kind of watch as I go around and just fill it up. So you can see now I pretty much have all of these pinecone ornaments on. I have 3 sitting here that I just need to find little hangers for. So I'm gonna bring you in a little closer and you can see where I wanna now start filling in some of the gaps. But really overall, as I back up, there's quite a few pine cones on here. Now, personally, I would take about double the amount of pine cones and I would love just to jam the whole tree full of them all the way to the interior and back. But this really does showcase some of them, and that's what I do like about it. But I'm gonna bring you in closer so you can really see it. I have to step back quite a bit so you can see a little bit more of a full view. But then as I come in closer, you're gonna see how nicely it is. Now, what I did try to do was try to get the colors somewhat evenly dispersed. Now, I am seeing maybe a little cluster of blue over in here, so I may, kind of move a few. I don't necessarily have even amounts of color, so I can't perfectly place them, but I really do like how it's starting to come together. Now, what I do wanna do and start filling in some of the bigger gaps. And at first what I'm gonna try to do that with is these wonderful Putz houses. Now, the one thing I always try to do when I'm doing a tree is I don't like anything hanging lower than the tree itself. So on that bottom branch, I don't really have any hanging below. I think it just feels awkward to the eye and I don't like how that feels. So what I will start by doing, and you could even set some of these on some interior branches, I'm gonna start, I think, mostly with hanging them. And so I'm gonna take a couple and look how fun these are. I might have to find some hangers for some of them, but I like how the colors really will go perfectly. Now, I am going against one of my usual rules, which is always hang the biggest things first that are heavy, like this could be, compared to some of the delicate ornaments. But I want the ornaments on first in this case so I can see where maybe I want to start hiding some things. So I'm gonna just kind of start placing where I think these could be. So like this one, I could kind of just, let me get the camera to where you can see it. I think I'm gonna have it be so you can start seeing these on the interior of the tree. And then that way, this tree is open enough that I can get inside of it and hang some of them up. And I think those will really work well with the pine cones. So now I have some of the houses on. I'm gonna put a few more on, and then I think we will add in some of these candy canes. I'm gonna try a few and see what I think. They're again just something that to me, they need to have sturdy branching because they're very breakable, the mercury glass. And this tree has very nice sturdy branches, which is why I like certain faux trees, especially when we come to delicate collections like these that you don't want falling off. So I'm gonna put a few more things on, then we'll kind of see how it's pulling together. Okay friends, the tree is done. Or done at this point. I'm someone that will keep fluffing with a tree, but what I do want to kind of highlight, and I'll bring you in so you can see it closer, is what I ended up doing to fill in some of the spaces. I like it to be an open tree. I still wanted that, and I feel like it has more of a nostalgic feel like that. I do know some people won't love the style of the tree. This is the one I really enjoy using up here. But what I did do was start placing Putz houses, even ones that weren't to hang, on certain branches, so you kind of get this overall kind of cohesive feeling with some of them hanging, but then some of them are the ones that you would just set on usually a counter or a space or a shelf like behind here. So instead it's creating this whole little village effect that I really like. Now the one thing that could kind of be helped, I think, is you can find little figurines too. I think I have a couple over here. And so like some of these, maybe I should put on the tree, these little like gnomes. Actually, they're not gnomes, they're probably supposed to be little elves, but they can hang actually on a tree too. And they were usually made by the Shiny Bright company also, because I have some in original boxes. And so those could hang with this, and I think they would just finish it off perfectly. So as you can see, it's fun to pull a tree together in different ways, but let me bring you in closer so you can really see some of it. So as we zoom in, you're really starting to get that feel for the beautiful Putz houses with those ornaments of the pine cones. They all have the same colors. And then those candy canes are those mercury glass ones. And what I really like is all these boxes down underneath then, I even put a few of those Putz houses on those so it ties that whole feeling together. Placed a couple stars in them. It's just supposed to feel like maybe a Christmas morning tree from years ago that's full of beautiful little presents that you could open. And then as we go in, you're gonna see what I mean here. So like houses like this are just setting on the branch. That's what's great about sturdy branching like this, is you can really fit on a lot. And then over the years, as I get more pinecone ornaments, I can add those. And like I said, I think it'll be perfect if I add in some of these little figurines too, to kind of just, which are made out of real pine cones. So they work together really well. And then at the top, I do have a vintage star that just ties it all together and really brings home that theme. I really like how the colors work together. Personally, what I love is how it brings my collection that I've been working on for years together. So my first pinecone ornament, I still remember this, started with this one right here. I got it when I was in college at a thrift shop for a couple dollars, and it just started the bug that has slowly led to this. Usually I add maybe 1 or 2 or 3 on a good year, maybe a few more to my collection, but they can be hard to find and sometimes the prices go up, so I pass on them. But I really love how they kind of just, I feel like, are highlighted when they're together on a tree. I hope you too can get a little excited maybe about Christmas, but also you can see how I put things together, which this is literally the process. It's me standing with a tree, maybe changing things here and there. You know, my mom and I talked when we were doing the tree in her family room that we have a video on. We were talking about how my grandma, my mom's mom, would kind of sit with a tree and work with it for a long time. It took her over a week to put it together, but then all season long she was making little adjustments. I'm the same way. This tree will probably look a little different by the time we get to Christmas and look different all the way until I take it down, and then next year the whole process will start over again. It's one of those things that I just think work really well. And I will, just so, because I know you're gonna wanna know, I will be doing my annual Whole House Christmas tour. That will be coming up. I do wanna show you just quickly, just like a little sneak peek. This tree right here goes really well. Behind here is, if I just turn really quickly, you can see here, I have a whole little arrangement set up with that same feeling of bottle brush trees, Putz houses, things like that. So we will show you very soon the whole tour. It's fun to bring you along though on this process as I'm putting rooms together and just kind of deciding what's going where and how it's gonna work. So I hope you're excited for the Christmas season. Of course, as always, check my website out for all my food videos and recipes that you can use all season long, because those memories are what make it special.